Most men worry about hair in the sink. I worry about who's pulling it. My name is Harold Benton, and I'm 43 years old with a mortgage consulting business that pays the bills and a wife who's forgotten my name exists. Natalie used to light up when I walked through the door. Now she barely glances up from her phone, usually texting someone whose messages make her smile in ways I haven't seen in months. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Working late again tonight, she announced this morning. Not asking, just informing. Her hair was perfect, professionally styled at the salon where she works, and she wore a new dress I'd never seen before. The price tag was probably still in our joint account, another mystery purchase I'd discover later. Which client? I asked, stirring my coffee. You wouldn't know them. That dismissive tone, like I'm some small-town nobody instead of the guy who helped finance half the businesses in this city. I watched her grab her purse, also new, leather, expensive, and head for the door. She paused at the mirror, checking her reflection with the kind of care you reserve for someone special. Just not me. The house felt different after she left. Quieter, but not peaceful. More like the silence before a storm. My phone buzzed. Dave Morrison, my oldest friend and the only insurance adjuster in Milwaukee with a sense of humor. Coffee? I've got news you need to hear. We met at Murphy's Diner, our usual spot since college. Dave looked uncomfortable, fidgeting with his coffee cup like it held the answers to life's mysteries. Just say it, I told him. Whatever it is, I can handle it. It's about Natalie. Of course it was. I was at Liquid downtown last Friday. You know, that trendy place where drinks cost more than my car payment. Dave pulled out his phone. I saw something, recorded it before I realized what I was looking at. The video was shaky, typical phone footage from across a crowded club, but the image was clear enough. Natalie, my wife of 8 years, sitting on someone's lap in a corner booth. His hands were on her waist, her fingers running through his hair. They were laughing, intimate, completely absorbed in each other. The man was my brother Tyler. I stared at the screen, watching my wife and my younger brother act like teenagers at prom. Tyler's hands moved lower, and Natalie didn't stop him. She leaned in closer, whispering something that made him grin. How long have you had this? I asked. Since Friday night. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you. Send it to me. Harold, send it to me, Dave. He did. I watched it 3 more times, memorizing every detail. The timestamp showed 11:47 p.m. last Friday. Natalie had told me she was having dinner with her friend Melissa. Apparently dessert was my brother. What are you going to do? Dave asked. I smiled, and something in my expression made him lean back. I'm going to play chess, not checkers. That night, I sat in my home office with a legal pad, a calculator, and 8 years of marriage reduced to evidence. The club video was just the beginning. Once you know what to look for, the signs are everywhere. Credit card statements showed regular charges at expensive restaurants on nights Natalie claimed to be working late. Her salon closed at 6. These dinner charges were always after 8, always for 2 people, always at places Tyler frequented. I found receipts in her purse, not snooping, just emptying pockets before laundry, like I'd done for years. Hotel bars, late-night clubs, even a weekend spa resort during a time she told me she was visiting her sister in Chicago. The phone records were public information. I helped enough divorce lawyers with financial investigations to know the tricks. Natalie's number appeared on Tyler's bill constantly. Long calls, usually late at night, text message clusters that lasted hours. But I needed more than circumstantial evidence. I needed a confession. Tyler managed a gym downtown, one of those trendy places where people pay premium prices to lift weights that cost less than their monthly membership. I found him in his office Tuesday morning, feet up on his desk, scrolling through Instagram like he was researching world peace. Harold, what brings you to my temple of fitness? He stood up, all charm and white teeth. Tyler had always been the good-looking brother, the one who made friends easily and never worried about consequences. We need to talk. Sure, what's up? He gestured to a chair, but I remained standing. It's about Natalie. Something flickered in his eyes. Just for a second, but I caught it. Fear. What about her? I pulled out my phone and played the club video. Tyler's face went through several expressions: surprise, denial, resignation, and finally anger. Where did you get that? Does it matter? Look, Harold, it's not what it looks like. It looks like my wife sitting on my brother's lap while he feels her up in a public place. I kept my voice level, conversational. What exactly should it look like? Tyler ran his hands through his hair, the same hair Natalie had been stroking in the video. It was just We were drunk. It didn't mean anything. How long? Harold, how long, Tyler? He slumped into his chair. 6 months, maybe 7. 7 months. While I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for her new wardrobe and his gym membership, they were playing house behind my back. She's going to leave you anyway, Tyler said, defensive now. She told me. The marriage has been over for years. Did she tell you that before or after you started screwing her? Don't make this ugly, man. These things happen. You and Natalie grew apart, and... I grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him up from his chair. Tyler was younger, stronger, but I had rage on my side. I slammed him against the office wall hard enough to rattle the motivational posters. These things happen? I pressed my forearm against his throat. My brother seducing my wife just happens. Harold, please. You're going to tell me everything, every detail, every lie she told me while you two were together. I pressed harder. And you're going to say it into my phone's voice recorder, or I'm going to make this video go viral with both your faces clearly visible. Tyler nodded frantically. I released him and hit record. For the next 20 minutes, my brother confessed to an affair that had been going on since last summer. Hotel rooms I'd unknowingly paid for, lies Natalie had told about working late, even family gatherings where they'd snuck away together while I was talking to our parents. She's planning to ask for a divorce after the holidays, Tyler finished. She wants to wait until after Christmas so she doesn't ruin the family celebration. How considerate. I stopped the recording and pocketed my phone. Tyler looked like he'd aged 5 years in 20 minutes. Stay away from her, I said. Stay away from me. And if you say one word about this conversation to anyone, I'll make sure everyone in this city knows exactly what kind of man you are. I left him there, probably wondering if his big brother had finally lost his mind. Maybe I had. But crazy or not, I was just getting started. Natalie came home that night with takeout Chinese food and a guilty smile, like she was trying to make up for something. If she only knew. How was your day? She asked, unpacking containers on the kitchen table. Enlightening, she looked at me sharply. What's that supposed to mean? I learned some interesting things about family loyalty. We ate in relative silence. Natalie kept checking her phone, probably waiting for Tyler to text her about our conversation. He didn't. Smart boy. After dinner, I poured 2 glasses of wine and sat across from her at the table. We need to talk. About what? I pulled out my phone and set it between us. About this. The club video started playing. Natalie's face went white, then red, then white again. She watched herself grinding against my brother in high definition, her wedding ring clearly visible as her hands roamed his chest. Harold, I can explain. Can you explain this too? I produced the hotel receipts, the restaurant charges, the phone records. Or this. Tyler's recorded confession played through the phone speaker, his voice shaky but clear as he detailed their affair. Natalie stared at the phone like it was a snake. You recorded Tyler? I recorded my brother confessing to sleeping with my wife for 7 months. Yes. She tried the tears first. Harold, please, it's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You've been cheating on me with Tyler since last summer, lying about working late, spending our money on hotel rooms, and planning to divorce me after Christmas so you don't inconvenience the family. The tears stopped. Natalie's expression hardened into something I'd never seen before. Cold, calculating, mean. Fine. You want the truth? Yes, I'm sleeping with Tyler. Yes, I want a divorce. This marriage has been over for years, Harold. You're boring, you're predictable, and you have no idea how to make a woman feel alive. But Tyler does? Tyler knows how to have fun. Tyler doesn't spend his evenings doing paperwork and watching the news. Tyler makes me feel like I'm 25 again. Tyler's unemployed half the time and borrows money from our parents. Tyler has passion. I nodded slowly. Well, Tyler's about to have a lot more time for passion. I'm cutting him off from the family business accounts, and I'm sending copies of this evidence to Mom and Dad. You can't do that. Watch me. I pulled out my laptop and opened my email. Our parents had trusted me with managing their investment accounts after Dad's retirement. Tyler received a monthly allowance from those accounts, money that had apparently been funding his affair with my wife. I typed a brief email explaining the situation and attached the club video, hotel receipts, and Tyler's confession. Then I copied Natalie's parents, her sister, and her best friend, Melissa. Harold, don't... I hit send. Too late. Natalie lunged for the laptop, but I closed it and held it away from her. You bastard! You vindictive bastard! I'm vindictive? I'm not the one who's been cheating for 7 months? I'll destroy you in the divorce. I'll take half of everything, including your business. I smiled. Actually, you won't. I pulled out a folder I'd prepared earlier, copies of every financial document, every business record, every piece of evidence showing how our assets were actually distributed. The house was in my name only, purchased before our marriage. The business was a sole proprietorship. Our joint accounts held less than $5,000. Turns out, there's not much to split. Funny how that works. Natalie stared at the documents, her face cycling through emotions like a broken slot machine. This is all planned. You've been planning this. I've been planning this since about 10 o'clock this morning when I watched you dry hump my brother in a public place. My phone started buzzing. Text messages, probably from family members who'd received my email. I ignored them. Pack a bag, I told Natalie. You can stay with Tyler or your parents or Melissa. I don't care, but you're not staying here. This is my house, too. Check the deed. It's not. She threw her wine glass at the wall. It shattered, red wine running down the white paint. You snake! You planned this whole thing. I adapted to circumstances. There's a difference. Natalie stormed upstairs. I heard drawers slamming, closets opening, the sounds of someone packing in a rage. 20 minutes later, she came down with 2 suitcases and murder in her eyes. This isn't over, Harold. Yes, it is. She slammed the door hard enough to rattle the windows. I poured another glass of wine and started reading the text messages. Dad, is this real? Mom, call me immediately. Melissa, OMG. Harold, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. Natalie's sister, what the hell is going on? I turned off my phone and finished my wine in the quiet house. Tomorrow would bring lawyers, family drama, and the messy business of untangling 8 years of marriage. But tonight, for the first time in months, I was alone and at peace. The next morning brought consequences. My phone had 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The family group chat, usually reserved for birthday reminders and holiday plans, had exploded into digital warfare. Mom, Tyler, explain yourself. Dad, I can't believe this. Tyler, it's complicated. Me, it's really not. I made coffee and scrolled through the messages. Tyler had tried damage control, claiming the video was taken out of context and that Harold was having a breakdown. Natalie had apparently called everyone, spinning a story about an abusive marriage and a vindictive husband, but evidence speaks louder than excuses. The hotel receipts were time-stamped. Tyler's confession was in his own voice. The club video showed everything. My phone rang. Mom. Harold, honey, are you okay? I'm fine, Mom. Your father wants to talk to Tyler, but he's not answering his phone. He's probably busy consoling Natalie. This is just... I can't believe Tyler would do this. And Natalie seemed so sweet. Sweet. Right. People surprise you. What do you need us to do? I'd been thinking about that. Tyler's been getting money from Dad's accounts. That needs to stop. Consider it done. And Mom, don't let him talk you out of it. He's going to try to make this my fault. Harold, Tyler is our son, but what he did was wrong. There will be consequences. After Mom hung up, I drove to my office. I had clients to see, deals to close, a business to run. Normal life had to continue, even when your personal life implodes. But normal didn't last long. Around noon, my secretary buzzed me. Mr. Benton, there's a woman here to see you. Says she's your wife. Natalie walked into my office wearing a black dress that cost more than most people's car payments. Her makeup was perfect, her hair salon fresh. She looked like she was going to a funeral. Maybe she was. We need to talk. I thought we covered everything last night. Harold, please, can we discuss this like adults? I gestured to the chair across from my desk. She sat down, crossing her legs in a way that used to distract me. Now it just looked calculated. I made a mistake, she began. You made a choice? It was a mistake, Harold. Tyler pursued me, and I was lonely, and... Stop! I held up my hand. Don't blame Tyler. Don't blame loneliness. You made a decision to cheat on me with my brother for 7 months. Own it. Her composure cracked slightly. Fine. I chose to have an affair, but we can work through this. Marriage counseling, therapy. No. Harold. Natalie, you told Tyler you were planning to divorce me after Christmas. You called our marriage over. You said I was boring and predictable. Why would you want to save something you described as worthless? She had no answer for that. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to get a lawyer. I'm going to get a lawyer. We're going to divide what little shared assets we have, and then we're going to go our separate ways. What about forgiveness? What about 8 years of marriage? What about 7 months of adultery? She started crying then. Real tears, not the calculated ones from last night. I love you, Harold. No, you don't. You love the security I provided. You love having someone to pay the bills while you play house with my brother. But you don't love me. That's not true. When's the last time you asked about my day? When's the last time you initiated a conversation that wasn't about money or your problems? When's the last time you looked at me the way you look at Tyler in that video? Silence. That's what I thought. Natalie left my office in tears. I felt bad for about 30 seconds, then remembered the hotel receipts. The rest of the week was a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and family drama. Tyler had been officially cut off from all family financial support. Our parents were devastated, but supportive. Natalie had moved in with her friend Melissa, who'd apparently known about the affair all along. That revelation came courtesy of Dave, who'd run into Melissa at the grocery store. She tried to act surprised when I told her about the video, Dave reported over beer Friday night. But she was a terrible actress, started backpedaling, saying she'd suspected something but didn't want to get involved. Loyal friend. The best kind. Loyal to whoever's buying dinner. I was learning that betrayal rarely travels alone. It brings friends. Saturday morning, I decided to visit Tyler at his gym. Not to fight, not to argue, just to see how he was handling his new reality. I found him in the parking lot staring at his car. Someone had covered it with bumper stickers, dozens of them, all with messages like home wrecker and brother betrayer and cheater. Artistic, I said. Tyler spun around. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Did you do this? No, but I appreciate the craftsmanship. This is harassment, Harold. I could call the police. And tell them what? That someone accurately described your behavior using adhesive labels? Tyler peeled at one of the stickers. It wasn't coming off easily. You've turned the whole family against me. I showed them evidence. They drew their own conclusions. Mom won't take my calls. Dad canceled my gym membership to the country club. Even my friends are acting weird. Actions have consequences. Novel concept. I said I was sorry. No, Tyler, you said it was complicated. There's a difference. I left him there, scraping stickers off his car with a credit card. The image would stay with me. My younger brother, always so confident and carefree, reduced to cleaning up the mess he'd made. It was a good start, but I wasn't finished. The divorce proceedings moved faster than I'd expected. When you have documented evidence of adultery and very few shared assets, lawyers can work miracles. Natalie hired Patricia Vance, a shark in a power suit who specialized in taking men to the cleaners. I hired Janet Morrison, Dave's sister and one of the most thorough attorneys in the state. This should be straightforward, Janet told me during our first meeting. She committed adultery, which affects alimony considerations. The house is yours, the business is yours, and your separate accounts remain separate. What can she claim? The furniture, her personal belongings, maybe half the value of your joint checking account. We're talking a few $1,000s. That's it? That's it. Unless she can prove you're hiding assets or that she contributed significantly to the business. She couldn't. I'd kept meticulous records, and Natalie had never shown any interest in my work. The first court hearing was scheduled for a Thursday morning in November. I arrived early, wearing my best suit and carrying a folder of evidence that could choke a horse. Natalie sat with her lawyer at the opposite table, wearing a conservative blue dress and a victim's expression. She looked small, fragile, like a woman who'd been wronged by a cruel husband. Too bad the judge had already reviewed the evidence. Mr. Benton, Judge Patricia Hawkins began, you filed for divorce on the grounds of adultery. Please present your evidence. I stood and handed copies of everything to the court clerk. The club video, hotel receipts, phone records, Tyler's recorded confession, and a timeline documenting the affair. Judge Hawkins reviewed the materials while Natalie's lawyer whispered frantically in her ear. After 10 minutes, the judge looked up. Mrs. Benton, do you dispute this evidence? Natalie's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client admits to a brief indiscretion, but she maintains that the marriage was already troubled and that Mr. Benton's behavior contributed to... I didn't ask for context, Counselor. I asked if she disputes the evidence of adultery. No, Your Honor, but... Then we can proceed to asset division. It took less than an hour. The house remained mine, purchased before marriage, mortgage payments from my separate business account. The business remained mine, sole proprietorship, no spousal contributions. Our joint checking account would be split 50-50, totaling $1,147 each. Natalie got the furniture she'd brought into the marriage, her personal belongings, and her car. That was it. 8 years of marriage dissolved into less than $5,000 worth of stuff. Your Honor, Natalie's lawyer tried one last time. My client gave up career opportunities to support her husband's business. What career opportunities? Judge Hawkins asked. The lawyer had no answer. Natalie had been a hairstylist before our marriage and remained a hairstylist throughout. No sacrificed career, no supported education, no significant contributions to my business growth. The division stands as outlined, divorce granted. Outside the courthouse, Natalie was crying again. Her lawyer looked frustrated, probably realizing her fee would exceed her client's settlement. This isn't fair, Natalie said as I walked past. I stopped. What would be fair, Natalie? Half my business, half my house, a reward for sleeping with my brother? I made a mistake. You made a choice. Every hotel room, every lie, every family dinner where you sat next to me while texting Tyler, those were choices. I never meant to hurt you. You meant to divorce me after Christmas. You meant to take half my assets. The only thing you didn't mean was getting caught. I left her there with her expensive lawyer and her crocodile tears. That afternoon, I met Dave for lunch. He raised his beer in a toast. To justice served. To evidence properly documented. What now? Good question. The divorce was final. Tyler was cut off from the family, and I had my house back. Justice had been served, but it felt incomplete. Now I wait, I said. For what? For them to make the next move. Dave looked confused. What next move? It's over, Harold. You won. I smiled. Dave, you've known me for 20 years. When have I ever been satisfied with just winning? That evening, I sat in my quiet house, thinking about consequences and closure. Natalie and Tyler had lost family support, financial security, and social standing, but they still had each other. I wondered how long that would last. The answer came sooner than expected. 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized, Dave called with news. Your brother and your ex-wife are having problems. Define problems. Melissa told my sister that Natalie's been staying on her couch because Tyler won't let her move in with him. Interesting. Why not? Apparently Tyler's having second thoughts about the whole thing. Easy to have an affair when it's secret and exciting. Harder to build a real relationship when everyone knows you're both cheaters. I wasn't surprised. Tyler had always been attracted to the thrill of the chase, not the responsibility of commitment. And Natalie had always needed financial security, something Tyler couldn't provide. There's more, Dave continued. Tyler's been asking around about getting back in the family's good graces. He called your mom yesterday, crying about making mistakes and needing forgiveness. What did Mom say? She hung up on him. Good for Mom. But Tyler wasn't giving up easily. That Saturday, he showed up at my house uninvited. I watched through the front window as he sat in his car for 10 minutes, probably rehearsing his speech. I opened the door before he could knock. Harold, we need to talk. No, we don't. Please, just give me 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let him in. He looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, the desperate expression of a man watching his life fall apart. I messed up, he began. Yes, you did. I want to make it right. You can't. Harold, please. I'm your brother. My brother wouldn't have slept with my wife. Tyler sat down heavily on my couch. I was jealous, okay? You had everything. The house, the business, the stable marriage. I felt like the family screw-up. So you decided to screw up my marriage too? It wasn't like that. What was it like, Tyler? Walk me through the thought process. When exactly did you decide that seducing Natalie was appropriate? He had no answer. Here's what I think happened, I continued. You saw an opportunity to take something that was mine, and you took it, not because you loved Natalie, but because you wanted to prove you could. That's not true. Then why won't you let her move in with you? Tyler's face flushed. That's complicated. It's not complicated. You wanted her when she was forbidden. Now that she's available, she's not as appealing. I need time to figure things out. Time for what? You destroyed my marriage for a woman you don't actually want? Tyler stood up abruptly. You don't understand. She's different than I thought. Needier, more demanding. She wants things I can't give her. Like what? Financial security. Nice restaurants. A future. I laughed. Actually laughed out loud. You mean she wants what she had with me? The life you helped her throw away? Harold, get out. What? Get out of my house. Don't come back. Don't call. Don't send messages through Mom and Dad. You made your choice, Tyler. Live with it. He left without another word. That evening, my phone rang. Natalie. Harold, I know you don't want to talk to me, but you're right. I don't. Please just listen. Tyler and we're having problems. Not my problem. I made a terrible mistake. I threw away 8 years of marriage for someone who doesn't even want me. Sounds about right. Is there any chance? Could we try again? The question hung in the air like smoke. 6 months ago, I might have said yes. 6 months ago, I still believed in forgiveness and second chances and the sanctity of marriage vows. But 6 months ago, I hadn't seen my wife grinding against my brother in a nightclub. No, Natalie? Harold, please. You told Tyler our marriage was over. You were right. It faded the first time you lied to me about working late. It was buried the first time you used our money for a hotel room with my brother. What you're mourning isn't our relationship. It's the security you lost. That's not true. Prove it. Name one thing you loved about me that wasn't related to money or stability. Silence. That's what I thought. I hung up and turned off my phone. 3 days later, Dave called with the final chapter of their story. Tyler and Natalie had a huge fight at Murphy's Diner yesterday. Half the town heard it. About what? Money, mostly. She wanted him to help pay for an apartment. He said he was broke. She accused him of using her. He accused her of being a gold digger. It got ugly. How ugly? She threw a plate of eggs at him. He called her a mistake. She screamed that she'd ruined her life for a loser who couldn't even afford dinner. Where are they now? Tyler's crashing with friends. Natalie's still on Melissa's couch, but that's ending soon. Melissa's getting tired of the drama. I felt something I hadn't expected. Pity. Not for their choices, but for their complete inability to understand consequences. The final act came 2 weeks before Christmas. I was decorating my house, alone but peacefully, when someone knocked on my door. Through the peephole, I saw both of them, Tyler and Natalie, standing together on my front porch like a delegation of failure. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. Harold, Natalie began, we want to apologize. Okay, apology noted. We were hoping, Tyler added, that maybe we could work something out, for the family's sake. What kind of something? They exchanged glances. Natalie spoke first. We know we hurt you. We know we made terrible choices. But we're trying to build something real now, and you need money. More glances. Tyler's looking for work, Natalie continued, but it's hard with his reputation around town, and I'm barely making enough at the salon to survive. So you want what, exactly? Maybe you could talk to your parents, Tyler suggested. Help us get back in the family's good graces. I could use a loan to start over somewhere else. I stared at them, my cheating ex-wife and my betraying brother, standing on my doorstep asking for financial assistance after destroying my marriage. Let me see if I understand this correctly, I said slowly. You want me to help you get money from our parents so you can move away and start fresh after you spent 7 months lying to me and sleeping together behind my back. When you put it like that, Tyler began, how else would I put it? Harold, Natalie tried again, we know we don't deserve your help, but we're family. You're not my family anymore, Natalie. And Tyler stopped being my brother the first time he put his hands on my wife. I started to close the door, but Tyler stepped forward. You self-righteous bastard. You act like you're so perfect, but you're just a bitter man who couldn't keep his wife happy. You're right, I said. I couldn't keep her happy, but I also couldn't imagine betraying my brother for any woman on earth. She came to me, Harold. She was lonely and neglected, and you were available and immoral. Perfect combination. Tyler's face darkened. You know what? I'm glad I slept with her. I'm glad I took something you thought was yours. You always acted like you were better than me, smarter than me. I am better than you, and smarter. That's why I have a house and a business and self-respect, while you're standing on my porch begging for money. He took another step forward, fists clenched. For a moment, I thought he might actually swing at me. Go ahead, I said quietly. Hit me. Give me a reason to call the police and add assault charges to your list of accomplishments. Tyler's hands dropped to his sides. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're both going to leave my property. You're going to figure out your own problems with your own resources, and you're never going to contact me again. Harold, Natalie started, ever. They left. I watched through the window as they argued in the driveway, probably about whose fault it was that their plan had failed. I finished decorating my Christmas tree, poured a glass of wine, and sat in my quiet living room. Outside, snow was beginning to fall, coating the world in clean white silence. My phone buzzed with a text from Dave. Heard Tyler and Natalie came by. Everything okay? I typed back, everything's perfect. And for the first time in months, it was. 6 months later, I heard through the family grapevine that Tyler had moved to Phoenix and was working at a chain gym. Natalie had left town too, destination unknown. They weren't together. Some people called me vindictive. Others said I was too harsh, too unforgiving. Maybe they were right. But every morning I woke up in my own house, surrounded by my own things, answerable only to myself. I had friends who respected me, family who supported me, and a business that thrived. Most importantly, I had the knowledge that when my world fell apart, I didn't just survive. I rebuilt it exactly the way I wanted it. Some men worry about hair in the sink. I learned to worry about who deserves to be in my life.